First thing is, Darren, are you fit?
Yes, fully fit. I played half a match at Swindon on Wednesday in the reserves and come through it fine, so yeah, I'm okay.
Now, it's not been a great start to the season. What do you put it down to? Who's that?
Flecky, yeah. Club clown. Every club's got one. Yeah, it's going to be a good game for us tonight. I mean, we obviously, neither of us have started that well. It's got the added impetus of being a local derby as well, and we're really up for it.
Now, there's all sorts of speculation about your future seemingly every week. What's the situation as far as you're concerned?
As far as I'm concerned, I'm a Norwich player until my contract runs out, which is at the end of next season. So, until then, I'll play my best for Norwich every time I put on the shirt. So, until that time, I'd be, as I say, I'll just keep concentrating for Norwich.
Now, I've got a quick message from Andy Johnson at Nottingham Forest. He says he's got the 2 touch belts.
Yeah, I tried to play him the last time we played him up there, but he wouldn't have it. See, he wouldn't let me give me a chance to win it back, will he? So,
what is it?
It's just a silly little thing we used to do before the game. Every game we used to play down at home, we used to play like a 2-touch sort of donkey game. You've got to keep it up between yourselves, and I don't think he has got a match. I think I've got the indoor one, he's got the outdoor, so we'll settle for that.
Well, he's claiming both.
Is he? No chance. No, yeah, he ain't got them both, mate.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Robert Fleck was causing the problems off camera. 17 goals last season for Darren Eadie, another England under-21 international, and a player that I think Norwich are pleased to have held on to for so long, Dave Phillips.
Yeah, it makes a change for Norwich to actually keep a player for a change. I think if Robert Chase would have been in charge, I think things might have been a little bit different.
Ooh, controversial.
Well, I'm saying if you look at all the signings that went out through Robert Chase, there was an abundance of them. But Norwich have got to keep on to these players, like Darren Eadie and Keith O'Neill, etc., if they're going to do well in the First Division. And it's nice to see Darren coming back after being out for a few games, but sad to see that Keith isn't playing.
You're a big fan, aren't you, of Darren Eadie, Alan?
Very much so. The 2 very good players for me on the Norwich side. Zaneo is not playing, and this fella here, Eadie, tremendous pace. Really, he can play him wide. You can play him through the middle. He can play wing back. His pace is exceptional. But I just feel, Dave was saying it's nice that Norwich can hold on to a player. If Norwich have to improve now. They have to climb the table. If they don't, the results go against them in their bottom half, then I promise you, someone like Darren Eadie would be a little bit unhappy, and the pressure would come on Mike Walker to have to sell him.
Well, they will hope that doesn't happen. Alan, thanks for the moment. You've now got to make this rather a dangerous little walk across the ground to your commentary box. There are a few Norwich fans who are hoping to meet you on the way.
I think I've worked out my route.
Let's hope you make it in one piece. Now, when you think of Norfolk, a lot of people might think of Bernard Matthews and say Beautiful and all those little...
Director of a club and a fan. Now, what comes first?
Well, definitely being a fan comes first. I mean, I enjoy being in the director's box, but I do miss sitting with my season ticket, crowd that I used to sit with. And but both ways, I'm a fan. Yeah.
Now, why did you decide to get involved? Everybody says it's very messy inside the boardroom. Surely it was best for you to stay away?
No, get in there, do something. I think actually it's good for women to be having some say in football, and so it's something I think is really worthwhile.
Now, what are all these tales? Are they true that I hear about you being very vocal in the director's box and telling the referee what you think about him?
Well, I wouldn't say, I'm over vocal, but I certainly can't sit still at a football match. There's no way.
Now, I've been in Norwich City Centre today talking to some of the fans, and they're very worried. They feel the team has been in this division for a season too long. Do you share those concerns?
Well, of course, every football fan wants their club to be in the First Division, in the Premier League and in Europe and everywhere. But I still think that this football club has been through a very, very difficult time. I mean, there was a time 18 months ago when we'd sold all our best players. We had to start right from scratch. And I think, yes, I do think you've got to have passion, but you've also got to have a bit of patience. And I think Mike Walker and the coaching team, they have their plan, which they're working to. We have to, as a poor football club, cope like other football clubs who are much richer with injuries and not have another bench full of star players to go out and replace them. So it is a struggle. But I do have patience and I do have hope. And I think, we're going to get there.
Well, let's have your thoughts on tonight's very passionate game then.
Well, it's nerve-wracking, this one, isn't it? Sometimes I think I should be at home with my head under the pillow, not even watching Sky. But I think if we're up for it, if we really want it, we can do it,
Right, well, since you've arrived, finally, are the players now eating healthier? Have they skipped the McDonald's and they're eating more pasta and carbohydrates?
Well, we are doing some work with the football diet, and I must say...
100 miles an hour, and just hope they can settle down and play some good football.
It's a lot of pride at stake. I mean, after the victory at Main Road, I mean, I think we've got a good chance of winning it.
Probably more than the England game against Italy, more for us. This is the biggest game for the season. This really is. This is the one.
Well, a hell of a lot to Norwich. As long as we get a good win, push us up the table and push Ipswich near the relegation zone.
Oh, it's everything. I mean, you could win these.
Brian Gunn waiting in reserve. Also, bags of experience at the back. Matt Jackson, Mike Walker, delighted to have him back after he missed the start of the season with a knee injury. He was Walker's first signing in his second spell here at Carrow Road. In midfield, another new face is Peter Grant. He arrived from Celtic in August. He's played all 7 since that date. And Darren Eadie, as we said, he's back after that calf strain. Top scorer last season, not though but on target in the last 8. And Adrian Coote, who got the winner last week at Main Road, he drops to the bench, and he's hoping to be the first Norfolk-born player to score in one of these league derbies for 15 years. And also on the bench, Craig Bellamy, after his midweek exertions for Wales. Moving over then to
Mike Walker's team faced a tough opening game against fancied Wolves. Summer signings Craig Fleming, Ewan Roberts and Victor Seguro all made their debuts, but it was the visitors who claimed the win, with Robbie Keane scoring both the goals. In the Coca-Cola Cup, Carrow Road's smallest attendance for 15 years witnessed Ewan Roberts' first goal as Norwich beat Barnet 2-1 in the first leg. And Norwich then arrived at the City Ground looking for their first league win and got off to a flyer.
Adams on the surge, just behind Eadie, Little, cleared, O'Neill, in off the post, Norwich lead 1-0.
But Forest retaliated with Pierre Van Hooijdonk, Jeff Thomas, Kevin Campbell and Thomas again, all scoring in a 4-1 home win. Mike Walker was not a happy man.
Disgrace as far as I'm concerned, and there'll be changes and we'll change things. You know, I can't handle that. It's at the end of the day, I just can't understand how players can let things like that happen.
Changes were made to the lineup and personnel as Peter Grant was brought from Celtic for £200,000. Crewe were the next visitors to Carrow Road, and Mark Rivers and Sean Smith both scored in a 2-0 win. The result meant the worst start to a season for Norwich since 1976 and left them bottom. Twice League Cup winners, Norwich then crashed out to divine inspiration as Sean hit 3rd Division Barnet's winner to leave Walker very disappointed.
We've just lost without the Coca-Cola Cup in a game that we shouldn't have been, and I'm desperately disappointed to say the least.
A trip to the Stadium of Light sent a ray of hope into the Canaries' promotion ambitions. A single goal clinched the win, Darryl Such the scorer, and it lifted Norwich 5 places to 19th. After a 1-1 draw with Portsmouth, Norwich then faced John Rudge's Port Vale. The fans were becoming restless until Robert Fleck scored his first goal in 18 games. So far, Norwich's only league goal and win at home this season. Just when things started to look up, Charlton inflicted Norwich's biggest home defeat in 5 years. Clive Mendonca scored a hat-trick in a 4-0 win. Manchester City were the next opponents, and despite Lee Bradbury opening his account for his new club, Norwich came through 2-1. Adrian Coote scored the winner, his first goal for the Canaries. It has been a poor start for Walker's team, but at Carrow Road they've won their previous 4 meetings with Ipswich, and they're hoping to make it 5 tonight. The Norwich statistics: played 8, 1-3, drawn 1, lost 4. That horrendous start to the season, but it has picked up since then. But look at those 2 figures at the bottom of the column. Scored just 6 and only 1 here, and already they've conceded 14, including that hat-trick against Clive Mendonca when Charlton were the visitors. So goal scoring a big problem. Neil Adams leads the way. Ewan Roberts isn't fit. He'll take no part whatsoever tonight. Young Adrian Coote scored his first goal for the club, but last week Robert Fleck, as we just heard, finally got back on the score sheet, and 2 of the young guns at the bottom, O'Neill and Such, of whom so much is expected in the next couple of years or so. Robert Fleck's an interesting character, isn't he? In his second spell at from Celtic, very experienced man. He won a couple of championship medals with Celtic, which show that he must have been there a long time ago, and you know him quite well, don't you?
Yeah, I would say Granty came here when I was here, so that must be quite a few years ago. But Mike was always after signing Peter Grant, and unfortunately for Mike, he signed a new contract back at Celtic, and eventually, and I think Mike will be very happy with Peter Grant.
Well, we have mentioned Mike Walker once or twice. Let's now hear from the Norwich manager. He's talking to Alan Bentley.
OK, Mike, first thing, how big a boost to morale was the win against Manchester City?
Oh, it's always nice to win, and particularly away from home. You know, what after losing. Well, we actually played quite well attacking, but gave the goals away. But well, we're unbeaten for 3 games away. We like going away, so let's hope we can do something here.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? With just 1 goal you scored in the league here.
Oh, thanks for reminding me. Yeah, I'm pleased about that. So there should be a few on the menu tonight for us. But yeah, I mean, we had a indifferent start to say the least. But we've got a good squad. We've had a few. I mean, we went there without 7 regular players at Manchester and still won. So there can't be that much wrong.
Now, with regard to derby games, do you enjoy them?
Yeah, I enjoy all games. It's extra spice because it's derby, but there's an extra edge tonight because obviously if we win, we can be, I think, 3 points off the leaders. So at least until tomorrow, anyway. So that's important for us.
Now, preparations haven't been helped with this Craig Bellamy situation. I mean, how did you see that?
Well, I'm not too impressed with it. I mean, obviously it's great the boys played for Wales, and I'm pleased for that. But to play a major game against Manchester City on the Saturday, which is a big game for the lad, and he was shattered, we had to take him off. He then flies to Oslo, plays in a game, does well, scores, makes 1, then plays against Poland a day later, and then flies back 4 o'clock in the morning and expect you to play tonight. And I think they're talking about, in this day and age, about too many games, burnout and the rest of it, and the game's too quick. Slow it down and don't play so many games. And we've got an international association actually playing 2 games in 3 days. The boy could play 4 games in 6 days. I think it's scandalous.
Thanks a lot, Mike.
He's a bit angry about that, isn't he? He's got justification for being a bit angry, I suppose. 4 games in 6 days for an 18-year-old, that's a bit tough, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a bit too much. You know, he's gone away on international duty, you know, with the Welsh. You know, good luck to Wales for that. But Mike can't be very happy. You know, the guy at Bellamy is like played 3 games in about 5 days and expected to play Friday night. And as far as I'm concerned, that's too much for an 18-year-old.
You worked with Mike Walker here at Carrow Road. He's an interesting character. We've seen him once or twice in the build-up, getting very animated. What's he like to work with on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, different. I must say, if the sun's shining, Mike is fantastic because you actually do see him at the training ground. You know, shorts rolled up, shirt off, suntan lotion on, and that's Mike Walker. But no, to be perfectly honest, like he's a very straight-talking guy. He knows exactly what he wants, and he'll be expecting a result tonight.
Well, they did have that awful start to the season that we've mentioned. Signs that they're turning it around. They can move to within 3 points of your boys if they win tonight. So what is going to happen?
Yeah, that's right. I must say, like, as you can see, from 15th place, you know, up to 1st, there's only about 6 points in it. So at the moment, it's too early to say what's going to happen. But 3 points does make a heck of a difference.
And this crowd, I can start to sense the atmosphere outside. You'll notice a lot of balloons tonight. Ipswich have brought 2,000 balloons with them, which the local newspaper has provided, and the local Norwich newspaper has provided 12,000 balloons. We thought they were going to have the scoreline from last season's fixture here written on them. Norwich won 3-1. It doesn't look as though they have got the scoreline on, but everything is really built up for an absolutely titanic tussle tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. You know, these East Anglian derbies are fantastic, you know, not only for the players on the pitch but for the supporters. And as we were saying earlier, I hope there's no trouble after the game.
Who's going to win?
I'm going for Norwich. I don't know about Alan, but he's not here, so I'm sure Alan will go for Ipswich. I'm going to go for Norwich, and Alan, I think we'll have a 5 on it, hey?
Well, the big question is, did Alan Brazil manage to make it across the pitch from this studio to his commentary position? We'll find out by joining, hopefully, Alan and certainly Rob Hawthorne.
Yes, he's well used to negotiating his way across to gantries in front of supporters. And what about you, Alan? Are you sitting on the fence?
Sitting on the fence. You've got my fiver, Dave Phillips. You're on.
Well, there's no Tarico and no Mason. Ipswich's 2 scorers in the last win. But I wonder if the key loss could be Steve Sedgley, who departed to Wolves after so brilliantly orchestrating the win at Portman Road in April, Alan.
Well, without a doubt, Sedgley's already proved that with Wolves what a good player he is. I just wonder, I'm looking at the Ipswich defence now, and Tony Mowbray back in alongside Jason Cundy. Tony Mowbray
out of the starting 11 after his arduous week. The youngster who set up both goals in the win at Manchester City is on the bench with young striker Adrian Coote, who scored the winner at Main Road. So Darren Eadie returns after a calf injury, and Mike Milligan is back too after a groin problem. The defence was restructured after the defeat by Charlton here, and Rob Newman and John Colston found themselves marginalised.
Yeah, Norwich City tonight looks like a 4-4-2 to me. Fleming, who's a good marker, maybe sometimes distribution on the ball not the best, but when he's got a job to do, a tough defender. Scott and Jackson, I quite like that partnership, the 2 centre-halves, and Such will be bombing forward down the left-hand side for Norwich. Midfield, very, very important tonight. Grant from Celtic, Milligan, who's back. They thought maybe he might not pass the fitness test, but between them, they tackle, they bite, they close down. It's going to be a tremendous battle in that midfield tonight. What I do like about Norwich this side is Adams, great pace on the right, and Forbes, again pace. Edie and Fleck's a goal scorer. Edie, well, we all know about him. We looked at him before the programme. Tremendous pace. Worries most defenders. Glenn Hoddle brought him in the squad. He is a big danger tonight for Norwich City. Big danger for Ipswich Town tonight. Darren Edie.
You can bet that everywhere these players have been in the last week, someone somewhere has mentioned this match to them and what it holds. The inescapable fact is that both of these teams will be battling to be the pride of East Anglia. Many memorable contests in the past, new history in the making after the break.
Up. In fact, we've almost arrived at the key moment. Norwich against Ipswich, the East Anglian Derby. A terrific atmosphere inside the ground. Let's rejoin Alan Brazil and Rob Hawthorne.
Carrow Road alive with excitement and expectation as episode number 63 is about to be written in the history of the East Anglian Derby. Ipswich overall have the upper hand, but Norwich in recent times have had a fair old success rate. 5 of the last 8 league meetings have resulted in a Norwich win. But Ipswich it is to kick off with Holland and Steen over the ball. And away we go. And the first header out by Neil Adams leads to an Ipswich Town throw-in. Ipswich attacking the goal to the left. Mark Venus, one of the newcomers to this occasion, but he's played in plenty of Black Country derbies in his Wolves days. And this is Mark Steen. Big occasion for Kieran Dyer on the right-hand side. Mickey Stockwell, though, playing just behind him, has plenty of experience. This is Fleming. Williams. Scowcroft. Clearance by Craig Fleming. Whichever team settles the quicker is likely to win, according to the Ipswich Town manager, George Burley. The ball turned clear by Matt Jackson. Stockwell has gone into the box. Venus aiming to test Marshall. And there's Cundy with a clearance for Ipswich Town. It's his first appearance in this big fixture, so eagerly awaited on the calendar in this region.
Yeah, good pace, Jason Cundy, sharp and snaps into tackles.
These two teams have normally looked on this fixture as a spur for success, but both are looking for it to kick-start their season, having struggled early on. Norwich with just 1 league goal here and 1 league win at Carrow Road. This is Bobby Petter, and the first challenge by Milligan on Petter.
Yeah, Petter's got some ability. He hasn't figured in too many of George Burley's teams, but there's no doubt his skill in Milligan catching him and in the end pushing him over. But this fella Milligan, what a good battle it's going to be alongside Grant. Tough, both of them love to tackle, and Geraint Williams against him on the other side. Fiery Welshman.
Well, the recent evidence suggests it could be a busy night for the referee, who tonight is John Brandwood of Lichfield in Staffordshire. Norwich had 7 players booked in the meeting at Portman Road in April. Neil Adams. And now Dyer under pressure from Darren Eadie, who had 45 minutes in the reserves at Swindon in the week to prove his fitness again.
Oh, goodness me. An Ipswich goalkeeper there, Richard Wright. His first touch there, he went sprawling, he almost fell over.
Wright, who's rated as one of the most promising young goalkeepers, but has had a bit of an in-and-out season so far and was held responsible for a couple of the Stoke goals in the recent defeat at Portman Road.
Yeah, to be on his defence, so he's a smashing goalkeeper, and I think he's entitled to make the odd mistake. Just losing his footing a few moments ago there, but this fella is a tremendous shot stopper.
And two of England's most promising goalkeepers on display tonight. Andy Marshall at the other end, a rival for the England under-21 slot. And he's now facing pressure from a Mark Venus free kick. Mowbray gone forward for it. Scowcroft or possibly Stockwell now the target. Stockwell playing for the corner and winning it.
That's not a bad start from Ipswich, pushing forward. Scowcroft's obviously the target. People at Stockwell, Holland, trying to get forward as quick as possible to support Scowcroft and Steen. Mowbray's a threat at the far post. Scowcroft near post.
Venus aiming it in there, but finding it blocked by Forbes.
Yeah, this fella's got a great left foot. Very influential when it comes to free kicks. Anywhere in the Norwich half, he'll be trying to get his left foot on it.
Here's Kieran Dyer with a throw. Stockwell. And what a tremendous night it is for Kieran Dyer. Just 18 years of age, but he's been an ever-present in the Ipswich team this season. Venus looking to launch it through for Scowcroft, and Marshall having to be decisive.
Yeah, Andy Marshall quick off his line there, but this fella is a threat at the far post. He's definitely going to trouble Jackson and Scott. Good ball in. Marshall quickly off his line with Scowcroft lurking.
And Forbes triply taking it away from two players. He's beaten Mowbray and Dyer.
Edie made a tremendous run through the middle there, and Forbes couldn't pick him out. It's just showing you how pacey this boy Forbes is.
Well, they have a great tradition of producing wingers here, the likes of Dale Gordon, Will Fox, and in a lot more recent times Keith O'Neill, and Adrian Forbes is looking to join that long distinguished line.
I tell you what, this is great pace. Skips past one player, two players. Watch Edie, right through the middle, Darren Edie, and Forbes couldn't get it. He used his right foot instead of his left.
And the free kick whipped in. And the header back was by Scott. And it took Venus to clear that one.
And Norwich have got a couple of big fellas. Venus done well there, but Jackson and Scott will definitely get forward as often as possible from set pieces.
Adams lifting this one towards Fleck, but it's Mowbray underneath it. Peter Grant. Foot was a little high there on Holland. Bobby Petter for Ipswich. Williams. This is Adams.
Neil Adams getting back there, defending well, Adams. But when he goes forward, he doesn't have whips and quality service into the box. Pacey gets half a yard, pings it into the box.
And gets a fair few goals himself too. Second top scorer behind Darren Edie last season was Adams. And he's got 3 already in this campaign. Williams. And now Scowcroft has made the run along the line. Fleming holding him up, but he's found Bobby Petter. Steam's in the box, so too Stockwell and Holland, and he went for goal, and Marshall turns it behind.
Yeah, good start to the match for Bobby Petter. He had options in the box. Steam was in the box, Stockwell's in the box. Good build up from Scowcroft. He has a look to be fair to Petter and thinks, right, let's fire one in near post. Good stop from Marshall.
Certainly some pushing by Cundy.
Yeah, Cundy, I think, was a good buy from Spurs. He's had his problems with rising there. Maybe the arms were out, but he is quick, and Ipswich needed a bit of pace at the back.
George Burley has made some shrewd transfer manoeuvrings. He got Mark Venus as part of the deal that saw Steve Sedgley leave, and he's been careful to make sure that replacements have come in for all those players who have departed.
I thought he looked nice and relaxed before the game, George Burley, and he knows it's a big game, third from bottom against their old rivals, but he looked confident and relaxed enough for me.
And unlike his opposite number, he's actually played in these fixtures in the past. But Mike Walker, in his 2 spells in charge, has seen plenty of these occasions. Both managers, in fact, have lost more than they've won. But here, Darren Eadie's away, and he's round the goalkeeper, and Eadie has scored for Norwich. What a return for him! 3 games out, and he's back with a goal in the 9th minute.
Yeah, we said about the pace, the threat this fella's got, and he's fired up. Look at him there, looking at Ipswich fans. You have to say this is a mistake by Cundy. It's a long ball. Cundy, was he tricked there? Tried to get in front of Eadie. Eadie's away. Wright makes the commitment, but he tucks it in a cute angle. Great finish from Darren Eadie. Cundy gets the wrong side. He's not going to catch Eadie now. It's a question of, can Richard Wright get to the ball? The answer is no. But look at this angle. Eadie has a look, and he slots it right-footed beautifully. Well, what a start for Darren Eadie. There's talk of him not playing. That's forgotten now.
Couldn't have been easy for him from the angle, but he made it, and he gets his first goal since the back end of last season. And Norwich off to a flyer.
Yeah, I was beginning to think that Ipswich has started well, pushing forward. But when you've got tremendous pace, you know, I'm sure Cundy's aware of it, and he tried to just step in front of Darren Eadie. Thought he could get the ball, but Eadie was gone.
And here's Stockwell trying to bring an immediate response for Ipswich. Steen was commanding.
It's the type of start you dream of in local derbies. You're at home, early goal. It was all Ipswich fans you could hear singing, but now Norwich, it's given them a huge lift. But Eadie, he is electric.
Here's Adams. Look, he just set Eadie away again. This time Cundy being more careful. Number 2, Craig Fleming. Well, it was a brave dive initially from Fleck, and then Forbes heading it back across, and while Fleck was still grounded, real confusion there, and Cundy hacked it behind for the corner.
Yeah, confusion there. Robert Fleck's taking a knock. I thought Fleck was getting in front of Mowbray here. It's a good ball at the box. He gets across Mowbray, and all of a sudden Forbes at the back, heads it back, and Fleck, well, he couldn't react because he's on the ground.
Fleck back on his feet for the corner. It's been delivered long, and Jackson's header harmlessly wide.
Yeah, Ipswich at the back now have got to sort of steady the ship. At the moment, Norwich should return the attack. It's looking dangerous.
Well, a devastating start for Ipswich supporters who'd seen their team start the game so well. Norwich have actually been used to seeing teams shut up shop against them and then eventually break them down, but this time Ipswich's open start, the gap appeared and Eadie exploited it.
There's a long way to go, Rob. Form goes out the window in derbies. It's always a pulsating derby here in East Anglia. There's no sitting back, try to sit and get a point. Let's get forward as often as possible.
Well, Norwich really have found goals hard to come by this season. They'll be relieved to have got off the mark already in this big game, but they're under pressure again here.
That's what we wanted, Rob, an early goal. Lively match.
Petter. Venus. And this is Williams. Stockwell to Dyer. Ran beyond Steen, but there's a foul by Scott.
Yeah, nice little ball from Kieran Dyer. Threading into Steen. This fella, at the moment, he's having to worry about the threat of Adrian Forbes, but Dyer, once he gets comfortable on the ball, he will get forward. Tricky footwork. Can he get Ipswich back in the game?
Dyer, one of 3 England under-21 players in this Ipswich team. Richard Wright and James Scowcroft, the other 2. And Scowcroft now looking to get on the end of a Bobby Petter free kick. Ipswich needs something to happen quickly, and Norwich have worked the offside trap to perfection.
Yeah, that was a nothing, wasn't it? That was a waste. Norwich just took one step up, Petter delivered, and there's 3 of them offside.
And opportunities that Ipswich can ill afford to waste. Mowbray. Here's Fleck. Darryl Such to Forbes. Cleared by Holland. Scowcroft. Venus, who's been a useful supply line in his time at left back for Scowcroft. He's going via Petter this time though. Milligan breaking it up well.
Yeah, he does that so well, Milligan. Always looking for loose balls in that midfield area.
Battling away. Here's Darryl Such. Right call to it by Mowbray.
Ipswich have now got to drive forward. Scowcroft's the target, and it's a case of building off from Steen and Holland. Stockwell looks to me as if he's pushed forward more on the right hand side for Ipswich.
Stockwell blocked by Such. Holland trying to get there and does. This is Dyer. Holland. Venus. Scowcroft just trying to hold off Jackson. He's turned him well.
Jackson done his job well there on James Scowcroft. Maybe a little bit of pulling. Very, very tight. But Jackson knows he must get close to Scowcroft because he's aerial power. And he's now getting good movement. He's learning all the time, this fella. Cuts inside, tries one on the right foot, but can't quite get enough. Good closing down from Grant.
Fleck. And away goes Forbes again, and Richard Wright had come a long way. Dyer holding Forbes up. Supporters drifted into the box for him now. There are 3 Norwich players in there.
He's a typical, exciting, fast winger. I suppose sometimes he's a type that tries to do things very, very quickly. Tremendous pace, but sometimes he can slow down and deliver the cross with some measure. But at the moment he's given Kieran Dyer a lot to think about.
Kieran Dyer, whose talents were recognised in the World Youth Championship in Malaysia over the summer when he represented England. Fleming. Milligan. It's Mowbray. Venus. Petter.
And Norwich tracking back there. Bobby Petter thinking about a through ball, but Milligan was snapping again.
Well, they saw the last free kick frittered away, and they won't want to make the same mistake a second time. Played short to Venus. Heading behind by Scott.
Well, Venus is holding his hands up there saying, come on, I can't put it any better than that. And Scott was first to the ball. Mowbray's really at the far post. Look at him. And it's in a dangerous area, but no one challenging him. Venus is saying, come on, I've delivered, get on the end of it.
Stockwell and Venus work this one. Taken in towards Holland, cleared to Bobby Petter.
Yeah, he had to hit it early. Grant and another Norwich defender were rushing out to close him down. He couldn't wait too long as the ball comes out. Petter, well, he gets it on the left foot, but it's too high. Can't get over the ball. But again, look at Grant and the big fella Jackson getting out to him. And Petter, well, this time much, much too high.
Well, Petter's shot was winging its way over the bar. There was an injury to James Scowcroft. And he's currently receiving treatment.
Looks as if he's struggling a little bit here. Shaking his head to the physio, and this would be a huge blow for Ipswich Town if James Schoolcraft doesn't carry on. Looks as if he's taking a knock either in the rib area, on his chest, or is it his neck? The physio just checking, but this looks serious for Ipswich Town. And Schoolcraft was lurking there at the far post. There's a few people going in there, even Holland goes in. I think maybe it could have been a knee in the side, on the back, but Schoolcraft looks in trouble.
Well, James Schoolcraft, the stretcher has been called for him. But what a moment it was for Darren Eadie at the other end. Just 9 minutes into the game when he got that goal.
Yeah, it came out of nothing really, a long ball. And suddenly Cundy's chasing with him. Eadie gets away, Mowbray can't get across. Tries to get the near post to cut it out, but Eadie, tremendous finish from Darren Eadie. And Fleck, he's delighted with him too.
Eadie beating his England under-21 colleague Richard Wright. And despite the narrowness of the angle, making it with the eventual shot. Wright, who made his debut for the under-21s in a goalless draw against Georgia, in which Eadie played.
The bad news here for Ipswich is Schoolcraft is certainly got a big problem here. George Burley will be really, really angry about this. Just what he didn't want, an early goal, conceding an early goal, and now your top striker, and he really is struggling. It does look like concussion, or it's a neck injury. But the good news for Ipswich, if Schoolcraft does come off, Alex Matthew surely will come on.
Although Matthew himself has had one or two injury problems and is only really just on his road back. He really was badly disrupted last season by a shoulder injury that's persisted at the start of this campaign, but it looks as though his services may be called for, because it doesn't look very clever for Schoolcraft at the moment, and Matthew may well have to come on.
Yeah, it looks dangerous, doesn't it? You know, the referee is certainly vertebrae, up high neck, and there's no way you can take chances with that. James Schoolcraft, well, there's so many players round him. Look, Scott's there, Jackson's there, in comes his own player. In fact, I really think that it was Matty Holland who collides with his own player. Schoolcraft really takes a whack in the back. Watch this here, bang, and that's the problem. Matt Holland clatters into the back of James Schoolcraft, and let's hope he's okay. That looked serious.
Well, there hasn't been a great deal of movement from Schoolcraft, and it's clear that he's going to be handled very carefully off the field. A neck brace going on to try and aid that bad neck injury that he's sustained in that collision with his own player.
Yeah, but this fella, he'll be desperate to get on here. You never want to come on for an injured colleague, but this is a big game, and Alex Matthew's a big game player. Maybe looking forward to taking on his old clubmate Peter Grant. Both played at Celtic for a short spell, and this fella Matthew, well, what an opportunity now.
Well, George Burley must think that he's jinxed. He had a lot of problems bedding down a striking partnership last season with a combination of injuries, suspensions, and the sale of Ian Marshall.
That looks nasty, doesn't it?
And the Norwich physio Tim Shepherd is also joining his Ipswich counterpart David Williams in assisting the treatment of Schoolcraft, and it's good to see that even through these rivalries there is the sort of spirit that will see that happen.
Well, there's certainly been nothing dirty in the game so far, and as we said earlier, it was an Ipswich player. There's no doubt about it. It was Holland who came into the back of his teammate James Schoolcraft. But George Burley, I'm sure they're saying to Tony Mowbray, come on, how can we lose a stupid goal like that from a long ball? There was no cover round on Cundy. Cundy tried to get in front, and he'll know he's made a mistake, Jason Cundy. But Eadie, well, what can you say? He took his chance well.
And now it's up to the likes of Matthew perhaps to try and repair the damage that Eadie has done to Ipswich.
Yeah, there's no substitute for pace, Rob. And this Norwich side with Eadie, and on the left-hand side, Forbes do look very pacey indeed. With fingers crossed for young James Scowcroft, and we wish him well.
Yes, it's a very sad sight, the exit of James Scowcroft. Applause from the Ipswich fans, but I'm sure that behind that applause there's real concern for him too. And I can only echo what Alan says, and that we all do send him our best wishes for his recovery.
And he's had a few injuries, James. Puts himself about, good in the air, and obviously that's a concern on George Burley's face.
Darren Eadie going across to for a word of comfort too. And onto the field comes Alex Matthey. And that's a big void that he has to fill now. And you wonder about the psychological effect that will have had on Ipswich too, in seeing their respected colleague go off like that. There's Darryl Such with the throw-in. Scott. Well, sometimes out of adversity good can come. And that may well pull Ipswich together.
Ex-Celtic Boys Club player. He's got to be a good player, Rob.
Matthey and Mowbray, the two former Celtic players in the Ipswich team, and both played alongside Peter Grant in his long spell at Celtic Park. And Grant now takes the free kick. Well, the idea was right, but the execution went a little awry.
I just feel that Ipswich at the moment, they've got to get more width, because Norwich in the centre of midfield with Milligan and Grant are winning a lot of the stuff. It's very condensed in there. There's a lot of yellow shirts. Milligan disagreeing with the referee, but it's very, very tight in here. Ipswich have to open it out on the right-hand side with Dyer and Stockwell, and certainly on the left-hand side with Venus and Petter. But Grant, he'll be delighted in his first East Anglian Derby so far.
Here's Mark Venus. Steen had just pulled away at the edge of the area calling for it, but he was flagged offside.
Well, Ipswich now with little Mark Steen up there. Matthey's not the biggest either. The quality service has to be to feet. There's no point sticking it high in the air, because Matthey and Steen are certainly not going to out-jump Matt Jackson and Kevin Scott.
Yes, a complete change of game plan now for Ipswich. Mowbray.
Mr. Tony Mowbray looks a lot more mobile. I've not seen him for a while. Tony Mowbray really has terrible injury problems in the past. As I said at the start of the programme, a bit of a torrid time in this fixture last year, but looking more mobile and enjoying this one.
Well, Mowbray played here last season. It was his first game in 8 months, and tonight is his first league appearance since last March. Seems to enjoy making his comebacks in this high-profile game. Well, let's get further news now on that injury to James Scowcroft. Our reporter Alan Bentley has the details.
I'm afraid it's bad news down here, Rob, at the moment. There is genuine concern about Scowcroft. He has no feeling in his legs. It's a neck injury, and the doctor's in examining him at this precise moment. As soon as we have any further news, we, of course, will bring it to you.
Away you go Ipswich now with Matt Holland.
Holland tries to get forward as often as possible. George Burley did try him back in sweeper position, but this time he is getting forward on the right foot. Jackson goes to close, but the accuracy not there. Doesn't trouble Marshall.
Well, it really has been a dreadful start for Ipswich in all senses, losing that goal to Darren Eadie, and the even more distressing sight of seeing Scowcroft depart with what appears a very bad injury. Darren Eadie now fouled by Williams, who's about to become the first player to be booked.
Well, it was from behind, but what can you do with someone who's got so much pace? I thought for a minute Eadie was in trouble. Dyer doing well. Watch Williams coming across him. And to be honest, Williams, I think, puts his hands in the air. He realises that Eadie's coming across him, but the referee looks at a different way. From behind, I'm sorry, Geraint, the yellow card's out. I think you're unlucky.
Well, he's a tough, dogged character. Here's Geraint Williams.
Well, clearly had his arms in the air, Rob, and Eadie went across him, shakes his head. Geraint didn't like it, and I must admit, I didn't think it was a booking.
Adams with a free kick. Headed across by Fleming. Stopped for a touch. And through goes Adams. Good progress he made. It was Cundy who cleared in the end. Good ball from Dyer. And tidied up by Jackson at the back.
I was saying, Rob, we're very worried about James Scowcroft, but we believe he's on his way to hospital immediately. So, you know, they get things done quickly, and let's pray he's okay.
There's Matthew. Jackson. A foul by Mowbray.
Just getting a little bit messy now, isn't it? A little bit physical. Temper's getting a little bit flared. You'd expect that in a derby.
Dyer. And Steen just made his move a little too early.
Yeah, that's better from Kieran Dyer. Steen gave him the option to run, and Dyer is very clever on the ball. Steen didn't believe it. He says, no way, not offside. But Dyer has to do more of that now. Come inside and try and probe away for his strikers.
Kieran Dyer, great young prospect, Ipswich born, Ipswich fan, like his goalkeeper Richard Wright. He used to watch these games from the terraces and could only dream of taking part in them, but now for both of them that dream has been fulfilled. That's the half-hour mark, but clearly there will be a lot of injury time to be added on after the 45. After that dreadful injury suffered by James Scowcroft, who just repeat is on his way to hospital.
Norwich really have been struggling at home. The home form has been diabolical. Goals really too few and far between, but perfect start tonight. Can they hold on?
Milligan coming back to challenge. Such. Fleck, who before tonight was the only Norwich player to score a league goal here in their only victory here against Port Vale.
Yeah, I think Robert Fleck, I think Tony Mowbray's got the job of looking after Fleck. Whereas Cundy, they realise the threat of Eadie's pace, but Eadie really showing him a clean pair of heels for that opening goal.
Adams. Stockwell. Here's Eadie. And it's run away from Forbes.
Yeah, so tight and so busy in that midfield area. And Norwich are, I think, just about winning the battle at the moment. Winning the knockdowns.
Ipswich now really will look for the experience of Stockwell and Williams to reassert themselves. Fleming under pressure from Bobby Petter.
Yeah, Petter's a type. He's got to get after Craig Fleming. Fleming's a good defender, but he won't be bothered about long passes, creativeness. He'll be worried about Petter. And Petter really at the moment, he's got to give them more to think about. He must put Fleming under more pressure.
Fleming with the free kick. Adams. Fleming. Looking to play it in behind Cundy.
That's not a bad ball from Fleming there. They'll gain 30-40 yards. Now Norwich trying to put Ipswich under pressure down the right-hand side again.
Eadie winning the corner for Norwich.
Up goes Jackson, up goes Scott again. Now this is where Mowbray and Cundy have to be strong, and Venus.
On the attack circle, Jackson.
Certainly a push. Referee spotted it, allowing advantage to go. But Jackson was climbing all over an Ipswich defender. Ball to the far post. And again it was Cundy he was climbing on top of.
Defending against those corners when the likes of Jackson and Scott are coming forward is another area where they'll really miss Scowcroft. Well, Forbes' enthusiasm just carrying him a little too far. A bit early for him to be substituted. It's Cundy. Well aware that Eadie was ready to pounce, but maybe not so aware that Fleck was there too.
And when defenders let the ball bounce like that, you always invite the forward to have a go. And with Eadie's pace, once again Cundy was under pressure.
Here's Holland. Ipswich desperately here, trying to rebuild. Looking for Mickey Stockwell. Matthews in the box. Steen is there, and it was blocked by Jackson.
Yeah, it's come off Jackson. Good move from Ipswich Town this time. Getting forward quickly. Holland with a superb pass. Stockwell knocks it back, and in comes Steen off the shoulder of Jackson for a corner kick. This is better from Holland. Good ball. Stockwell in advanced position. In comes Steen. Then you have to say Jackson defended well.
Petter's cross, and the goalkeeper was under pressure and under too much pressure. Free kick given.
Yeah, referee Brandwood right on the spot, quickly raising his hand and blowing the whistle. There's too much pressure on Marshall there. The Ipswich are beginning to get look more and more dangerous. It's right under the crossbar. There's a climb from Matthew, and that was enough for the referee saying now free kick.
Well, you can fully understand Ipswich having lost their way. It was bad enough conceding the goal to Eadie, but George Burley's troops have really had to pick themselves up after the sorry sight of James Scowcroft leading on a stretcher, and George Burley doing all he can from the sidelines to motivate them.
Yeah, he said to Matty Holland, come on, get it to your feet, that was better. But I think this is a very, very even game, Rob. Norwich, of course, with advantage with early goal. A lot can happen in derbies.
And away goes Forbes, and this time Wright had come a long way. Now was Forbes bundled over?
Well, Adrian Forbes is not complaining to the referee. Again, it's a through ball. It has Ipswich defence turning again and worried about pace. Not Eadie this time, it's Forbes. And again, well, there's maybe a little click of the heels from Kieran Dyer. Maybe not meant, but you can see there's contact there.
Well, Forbes, it appears, had been flagged offside anyway.
I must admit, Rob, when I did look at the Ipswich side, it did worry me about lack of pace.
And Stockwell's pushed it through. Matthew with a chance to equalise. Brilliantly denied. Can Petter equalise? Jackson's in the way.
Well, you have to say that is a golden opportunity for the substitute, Alex Matthew. But what a good save from Andy Marshall. And really, Ipswich should have been back on level terms.
Stockwell, it seemed, had lined it up on a plate for Matthew. But Marshall had very different ideas. Here come Norwich now with Grant. Williams back there, digging in as ever.
Well, we'll see this shortly, but sometimes for a forward, you only get one chance in a derby. And Alex will be disappointed.
Milligan, Scott. Now Eadie off on the chase, and the flag has stayed down. Fleck and Forbes have gone into the middle. It was asking just too much of Eadie.
Eadie is causing problems, but Alex Matthew knows his side should have been level. This, you dream about chances like this. Good play from Stockwell. Pushes it forward, just gets a toe to it. Matthew, good angles from Marshall, but you have to hit the back of the net there, and Alex Matthew knows it. Right foot, side foot, Marshall was down, but his angle was good enough, and that's a good stop.
Adams. This is Jackson. And now brilliantly played behind Cundy. For Fleck. Wright took command.
Ipswich all over the place now, the two centre-halves, Cundy and Mowbray. Robert Fleck's not the paciest, but he knows they're vulnerable in behind, and once again, he gets right in behind Cundy, and Richard Wright has to be very, very quick.
Fleck, Forbes! Well, that was a great chance for number 2, and Forbes knows it.
Well, Ipswich have to regroup now. Defensively, they're looking very fragile. And Fleck gets a flick on. Forbes lies 7 yards out there, and that could have been number 2.
What a headline-grabbing moment that could have been for the youngster.
Well, the problem is Mickey Stockwell and the youngster Kieran Dyer are trying to get forward to get Ipswich back in this match. And this fella sometimes been left isolated on his own. Again, right in the heart of defence. Kieran Dyer, good footballer, but the heart of defence are struggling at the moment.
Here's Such with the throw-in.
Still the Ipswich fans sing their encouragement here.
Forward goes Milligan, putting the pressure on. Williams, though, did his job against Milligan.
Well, chances at both ends, Rob. It's maybe a little bit of surprise, we've only seen one goal.
The foot of Venus was a little too high there on Edie. And a quick free kick taken to Adams with Forbes going into the box. Free kick against Petter this time.
Well, I don't know what Adams is really, he's absolutely, he's so angry here. Okay, he comes inside, fine. But that's not alright. Petter's right arm comes out there. Apologises to the ref, maybe Petter. Well, the referee's given him a good warning. But again, it's the pace of Norwich. The one quick through ball.
5 Norwich players packed into the area. And skimmed away off the head of Matt Holland.
Well, Jackson went down there looking at the ref, so I don't know what happened there, but Jackson was flat out in the box. The Norwich captain.
Well, they've left the resources forward, but Forbes has left Adams to take the corner. Fleck. Adams. The flick. Oh, great save!
Well, Richard Wright, I said before, what a great shot stopper this fella is. And thank goodness that was right at him. It came off Cundy, and Richard Wright reacts tremendously. And it's not going right for Jason Cundy tonight.
Right under pressure again here. It's certainly going right for him.
Yeah, these balls into the box are causing so much trouble for Cundy and Mowbray.
Forbes immediately trying to put the goalkeeper back under more pressure.
Richard Wright, he must be delighted. But that was almost straight at him. But watch this, flicked on, it hits Cundy, but good reaction from Richard Wright.
Venus.
Yeah, Robert Fleck being caught offside there. He feels every possible chance is drop it in behind the centre halves, and we're on it. But this time straying offside.
Here's Mowbray with a free kick. Fleming.
Yeah, he's just a little bit short now. I think Petter on the left hand side, if you're going to get the best out of him, he needs the ball to feet. And when he's not getting it, Ipswich are a little bit short with Holland and Williams in the midfield. I just wonder maybe Simon Milton, something like that, second half may play a big part here. Petter's not seen enough of the ball.
Adams, Fleck. Here's Fleming. Three-man Norwich forward line, all wanting service. Eadie, Fleck and Forbes were all there, but it's broken down. And possibilities here for Stockwell. Holland had made his move.
It was quite incredible here, Rob. Every time, this time Ipswich firing back at Norwich, but Norwich on the attack there. Every time someone like Fleming or Adams gets it, Eadie and the little fella Fleck are just pointing in behind the likes of Cundy and Mowbray. Just pointing in behind, just put it in there, we'll get there. That's how confident they are.
But Ipswich determined not to take this line down. It's Petter's cross. There's a good header from Venus off the line. Milligan was the man who cleared it just as Venus thought he'd brought it for its level.
That was a smashing header from Venus, and I thought it was in, looping into the far post. Goodness me. And little Milligan, who's been so busy in this first half, pops up and doing his job. Ipswich a let off there. Well, ball to the far post. Venus all alone. Look at this. 7 yards out. Good header. That beats almost everyone. Milligan, tremendous. Getting back in there. One of the smallest in the pitch. And heading clear for Norwich.
And here's Venus, the man who thought he'd scored. Matthew, Petter. Starting to look a bit more promising for Ipswich. Revival coming late in the half, but Mike Milligan denying Venus. And Milligan and Eadie, two players whom it was wondered if Norwich would bring back tonight, have both played a key part. Great ball here to Steen. He went for goal, and Matthew was making a run into the area, and was he being overambitious?
I think so. His first touch took him away from the goal, but it was a good ball from Petter. Matthew tried to go up there. Here's the ball from Petter, in behind the centre half. Watch this touch here. He really needed to get across more. Tries to strike to the far post. Matthew was making a run to support. A little bit ambitious. Ipswich trying to finish this half the stronger, trying to get back on terms.
Well, there was a foul there, but the advantage has been played, and Stockwell pulls it back.
I'll tell you what.
Now Holland seems to be held there by Fleming. The referee's given nothing.
Well, the referee wasn't in the best position there, but there's no doubt Fleming was pulling at Holland.
And Petter's cross now is cleared by Jackson.
The linesman was the other side as well. He didn't have a good view, but Fleming should feel very, very lucky here. The ball comes to the far post. Look at the arm round Holland.
Cleared by Fleck, only to Williams. And Eadie pulled out so quickly, and now he's on the charge if Fleck could find him. Grant has pulled out from the midfield too. This looks a promising break. Cut out by Dyer.
Yeah, good play from young Kieran Dyer. He was worried about the threat of Eadie. When Fleck kept going with it, Dyer was the man to come across and dispossess him.
And any such break from Norwich seemed to produce the exact same sort of response from Ipswich, who are probing away now with Dyer. Is he going to go for the hit? Steen, can he turn?
Good pressure from Ipswich now. Kieran Dyer very instrumental. Superb a minute ago, back in his own area, dispossessing Robert Fleck, but now weaving his magic. He just comes into the space that Steen is occupying, tries the curler, good turn, but off target.
Well, the Ipswich fans have been lifted by those few moments. Venus's header off the line, and they're starting to think that the revival may still be on, and those Norwich supporters a little more anxious than they were. Mowbray, well, he was taken from behind here by Fleck, and it looks like another yellow card.
Yeah, Robert Fleck looks so innocent, doesn't he? But he caught the big fella, there's no doubt about it. Mowbray about to clear, there's a challenge. Well, it wasn't a nasty one, to be fair, to the little Glaswegian.
A Welshman and a Scotsman in the book then, as Fleck follows Geraint Williams in being shown the yellow card. Into stoppage time, of which there should be plenty after the long delay while James Scowcroft was stretchered off the field. Petter.
And once again, Grant there, just lurking to try and clean up. He feels that Petter caught him there, but as the minutes tick away in this first half, another corner for Ipswich.
More positive signs here for Ipswich. Can they get the breakthrough before half-time? Mowbray's gone forward. Cundy was coming in, cleared by Jackson. Williams, deflected en route. Mowbray kept it moving well for Petter. Steen, good turn. Is he through? Great save. Holland's missed it. Can Stockwell finish? Cleared on the line again, this time by Jackson.
Well, what a chance for Ipswich Town. Goodness me. You have to say the goalkeeper was superb. But little Steen, he twisted and turned. Mark Steen felt that was the equaliser. Good play from Petter, but watch this turn. Fires it to Marshall. Holland has a great chance here. Missed kicks. It hits Mickey Stockwell. He can't react, but this is a good stop. But surely Holland should do better here. And then Stockwell can't react, and Norwich get it clear.
Jackson who hooked it away in the end. And Norwich clinging on by the skin of their teeth, and having lost Scowcroft already, they now have the sight of Mark Steen limping. Matthew, the substitute who came on for Scowcroft, battling away with such.
Yeah, good stuff. Good passion. Both sides totally committed, and this would be a blow if Mark Steen was to join the injury list.
Steen has let it go. Grant. To Andy Marshall, who's made a couple of vital saves in this first half.
Yeah, two good goalkeepers on view, Rob. Both tremendous shot stoppers even.
Neither has been particularly consistent this term, but they're revelling in the big match occasion tonight. Well, the header was never really cleaned up by Scott, and Holland make sure that the pressure is maintained. This is Stockwell. Now Dyer could break this from Ipswich. Kieran Dyer!
Yeah, this time Dyer making forwards get back and worry about him. Dyer getting forward. The Ipswich fans love this kid. Just couldn't keep it low, but a good supporting run. Stockwell, Ipswich are having better width down the right, and Dyer decides let fly, but much too high.
Well, two players who very nearly didn't make the starting lineup. Darren Eadie, back after missing 3 matches, scored the goal in the 9th minute that has given Norwich the half-time lead. Turned away from Cundy, beat goalkeeper Richard Wright, and despite the angle, put Norwich ahead despite 2 first-half goal line clearances and some good saves from Andy Marshall. It's Norwich 1, Ipswich 0.
First half, and that goal, but we'll talk about that in a moment. First of all, the one unfortunate incident involving James Scowcroft, really just an accidental clash with his teammate Matt Holland from the corner, and you can see here nothing either player could do about it, and Scowcroft went down and didn't move. The good news is he is getting some feeling back into his fingers. He has gone straight to hospital, and we hope before the end of our programme tonight that we can bring you good news of James Scowcroft. The good news as far as Norwich were concerned was that goal after just 9 minutes, Darren Eadie's first of the season. And Keith, what a finish.
Yeah, we all know about Darren's electric pace. He's got in behind Cundy. He's taken it around Richard Wright, fantastic, and he hasn't got the best right foot in the world, but he stuck that away, fantastic.
There was a little stumble there, Dave. I think perhaps he must have thought maybe of going down at that point.
I think at some stage, most strikers possibly might go down, but I think Darren had enough balance there anyway. As you see, it was a great ball from Fleming, and he had the opportunity to go down, but I felt, and I'm sure Darren felt, that he had more opportunity to score.
Well, it really is a very cool finish.
He has a little look up here. You can see him. There's a look up. He knows where the goal is, and it's a fantastic finish.
Eden's first goal of the season. Perfect start for Norwich, who'd only managed one at home all season prior to tonight. Now, plenty of incident in the last few minutes of the half, as we said. Possibly a penalty as well. Let's have another look at that. And Dave Phillips, you can give us your assessment.
It's a great ball by Mickey Stockwell. And, Fleming's got a little bit of an arm around Holland, but it was, 6.5 a dozen of, one of another. But as far as I'm concerned, that wasn't a penalty.
Whole host of chances as well, a lot of them for Ipswich, who came really strong in the closing stages, and Alex Mathie will perhaps be kicking himself not taking advantage of this particular opportunity, although it's some good goalkeeping coming up, Keith, from Andy Marshall.
Yeah, I think Stockwell's played a nice ball in here. Mathie's very sharp, he's onto it quick, but a great save by Andy Marshall. He's kept us in it the last 20 minutes, Andy, and it was an excellent save.
Now Forbes at the other end for Norwich perhaps should have done better there, Dave.
Yeah, I don't think the touch was a great touch. I think more hit his studs than anything else.
Now another dangerous moment here, Keith, from the Norwich.
Good header. And Mike Milligan, he's a man who's always in the right place at the right time. He's come to Norwich rescue there. He's been a saviour.
Mark Venus coming close, but plenty of other opportunities. And Mark Steen, who is absolutely desperate, of course, to get a couple more goals before his loan period at Chelsea, or the loan period from Chelsea, runs out. He had one chance where he screwed the ball a little too far back across the face of goal, and then there was a goal-mouth scramble. He was involved at the heart of that, and again, I'm sure all in the Ipswich camp will be scratching their heads, Dave, and wondering how they didn't get a goal.
No, that's right. I'm saying it's a good little ball from Petter, and Mark Steen has done fabulous to turn where he has. And again, Marshall's done superbly well. And I think Matt Holland will be a little bit disappointed he hasn't hit the target, to be honest.
Yeah.
Thanks for the moment, Dave. And Keith, I'm sure plenty more to look forward to in the second half. But at the break, the Canaries somehow have a 1-0 lead against the visitors. And those Norwich supporters look suitably satisfied. The Ipswich fans will think, well, we came close, we'll come closer yet. Second half is next.
Half-time penalty shootout from children, local children from both teams, representing the colours of Norwich and Ipswich. And in the match itself, this man's goal was enough to give Norwich a half-time lead. He scored in a 3-0 win in this fixture 2.5 years ago. But rather than Norwich actually building on the lead he established in the 9th minute, it was actually Ipswich who looked more likely to score towards the end of the first half. And Ipswich have only previously failed to score once in 10 outings so far this season, and that was on the opening day of the season when they were involved in a goalless draw with Queen's Park Rangers.
I think George Burley was saying, hey guys, come on, we had them on the rack there for the last 15 minutes. Let's keep at them, don't let them back, don't let them settle. Let's get snapping, let's get pushing forward and try and get this equaliser.
And hopefully he will have been able to at least reassure his team about James Scowcroft. The news of him a little more optimistic at half-time. Here's Mathie, the man who came on to replace him, looking for Stockwell. And now Darryl Such has gone down injured.
He went down very, very heavily there, Rob. Quickly he went down and heavily, and oh goodness me, what a start to the second half. Let's hope this is not another serious one. Stockwell just flips up, gets a touch on it. Now look at Such go down there, look at the agony in his face, and this could be a nasty one for Norwich.
Well, it looks as though he'd taken a whack on the knee, Darryl Such. He's a player who took a long time to establish himself in the first team here at Carrow Road, but now that he has done, he's become one of their most consistent players.
Yeah, he's got a good engine, gets up and down, good athlete. Just having a chat with the physio. Mickey Stockwell, I'm sure George Burley will be saying, get forward every possible time. You and Kieran work together, let's put them under pressure.
Well, Such is going to have to go off for a period of time at least. He's having to be helped onto the stretcher. And this is not an encouraging start for Norwich.
I think Mike Walker, after a great start, was a little bit concerned that losing possession towards half-time. Ipswich were certainly powering back at them, getting them on top. I'm sure Mike's looking for more from Milligan, from Grant in the midfield area, and this certainly will be very worrying for him.
He's got a decision to make now about how long he leaves it before making a substitution. Rob Newman is amongst those on the bench. Williams. Cundy. Matthew going for the header with Scott. Well won by Williams for Dyer, but he ran straight into Forbes. Williams, tigerish figure.
Yeah, good play from Geraint Williams there. As Forbes was just about thinking about flying forward 40-50 yards.
Stockwell, Williams, now Matthew, Stockwell and Steen both in the penalty area for him. Cleared only as far as Williams. Dyer, a little bit of youthful impetuosity, and suddenly Ipswich under pressure. Richard Wright's come a long way to meet Eady. And Eady, who's among the quickest in this division, was really hurtling towards that one at breakneck speed.
Well, I'm pretty certain at half-time Mike Walker was saying, look, you know the outlet ball, just clip it over the two centre-halves' heads and just let Darren get on to it. I think there's going to be a problem here with Tony Mowbray. Tony Mowbray chasing after Darren Eady there. As Venus actually just chasing after there, that through ball. It could be a hamstring, could be a muscle pull, but this is what Eady does. He causes so many problems with the pace, and now Venus could be in trouble again. How many times this stretch have been on?
Well, George Burley must really be wondering what he's done to deserve the sort of luck and ill luck that's occurred for him tonight. We saw Scowcroft stretch it off in the first half and ferried off to hospital after what looked like a serious neck injury, and now Mark Venus looks distinctly uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's a major problem. I think Mark Venus isn't going to play no more part. George Burley might have to think about Dave Kerslake, Simon Milton. This is really bad news for Georgie Burley. Kerslake, ex-Tottenham, QPR. Or will Milton come into the fray?
Well, Kerslake would appear the favourite to fill a defensive role. Became almost a forgotten man at Tottenham, released on a free transfer, and George Burley nipped in to take him. He played in the week in the victory over Torquay, in which Ipswich kept a clean sheet, and Venus certainly played a full part in that game.
Yeah, I just saw a body go down. Think it was Tony Mowbray, but Venus has obviously got problems there. Again, it was a through ball. Ipswich really are struggling to cope with this.
Then down to 10 men at the moment. Norwich back up to their full complement with Such back on. And he's still struggling, Venus. Didn't have too many happy memories of Carrow Road last season when he was here with Wolves and gave away the penalty that was inflicted upon them in a 1-0 defeat. And it doesn't look as though today's experience is going to be any happier for him. Darren Eady again ruffling feathers in that Ipswich defence and forcing Wright to come for it.
Yeah, Mowbray trying to get in front, just like Cundy tried for the goal. And Richard Wright really has to play as a sweeper tonight.
Well, Ipswich have decided that they can afford to take no more chances with Eady bearing down on them, and the change is going to be made now. So David Kerslake is coming on to replace Mark Venus.
I actually played with Dave Kerslake at QPR at the end of my career as a smashing fella. Good luck, Dave.
Kerslake, who also played with Mark Steen during his time at Lochness Road. Steen, who just had a season there. Williams.
All these injuries, and crikey, Alex Matthew knows all about injuries for Ipswich. Big problems with the shoulders. He's looking sharper, but what a glorious chance Alex had first half.
He may not get as good a chance during the rest of this game. Fleck. Hustle with Holland.
Well, Holland and Williams now are beginning to boss the midfield, which is a good sign for Ipswich.
This is Stockwell, 3 in a line ahead of him. And Milligan breaks it up. Fleck. Cundy this time having to deal with Eady. Dyer under pressure from Fleck. This is Williams. And now Scott facing his own goal.
Yeah, big Scott done well there because he had no idea where the ball was. He just kept running back, looking at the space, waiting for the ball to arrive, but clearing well.
Here's Dyer. Making a useful inroad, but it was a stumble in the box.
Good defending from Forbes. A good battle between them two, Forbes and Dyer.
With a shove on Eady that's left him down, holding the back of his neck.
Well, I don't know if it was a shove, Rob, maybe heads, but certainly there was contact there, and Eady went flying to the ground. And Cundy from behind, Jason Cundy, you have to, I'm afraid, accept the yellow card appeal. And yet another player down in this lush Carrow Road turf. Certainly in the back of the head there was contact.
Cundy is getting his name taken because of that clash.
Well, he certainly has to be careful now, Rob. Well, Eady's electric pace, one little mistimed tackle now, and it's an early shower time. Cundy wholehearted going into that challenge there.
Well, Cundy was turned by Eady for the goal in the 9th minute, and now he's been booked for a challenge on him. It's been a fairly torrid night. Maybe more to come now. Kerslake pulled on for the first time to deal with Adams.
So we haven't seen too much of Adams. I thought he'd be a major threat.
Brats flick across. Fleck went for it. And Dyer did well to close him down.
Yeah, Flecky just shaking his head. That was a chance, and he knows it. On the right foot volley. Quick throw in. Hooked on. And Fleck suddenly gets free. There was a good challenge there. But that was certainly a chance. Kieran Dyer quickly in on Robert Fleck.
Williams. Here's Steen. Steen and Matthew have both had glorious opportunities to draw Ipswich level. And now departed Venus with that header cleared off the line by Milligan. You don't expect to get too many opportunities in a derby match like this. And Ipswich will be ruining those missed chances.
Trying to work down the right again, Dyer and Stockwell. Dyer's actually playing behind Stockwell, just purely because of the threat of Forbes, Adrian Forbes, with his pace.
Mowbray. Here's Matthew. Using his skills to beat off Such, but it was Scott in the way. Stockwell. And Milligan it is who takes command. Stockwell though, continuing the battle with Mike Milligan.
That's one to Norwich. Referee deciding it was Stockwell the guilty culprit. Stockwell, of course, doesn't agree. It's a good, they're both having a good little battle here. Milligan gets a little flick, comes across Stockwell. The referee has to make a decision, and it goes towards Norwich.
Ipswich with only one league victory to their credit this season. They, more than any other First Division team, have missed out in the playoffs this year, feeling the effects of that.
And many people at Pont Road felt that the great run from Christmas, if they were to carry on, then surely it'd be another playoff job, or even automatic. But it's quite incredible. Third bottom, and at the moment not looking like coming away from the bitter rivals with points. But still a long way to go.
Stockwell. Williams. Stockwell again. Here's Dyer. Pretty good movement by Ipswich. Now Matthew looking to turn, and he has. But Marshall behind the shot.
Yeah, he turned well there. but Matt Jackson was right behind him. Sorry, Kevin's good turn, takes away from goal, fires with the left foot shot, and Matt Jackson really keeping close to Matthew here. Matthew on the left foot, but Marshall right behind it. I think Ipswich are doing very well, Rob, in the opening few minutes of the second half, down the right hand side with Dyer and Stockwell, and if an equaliser's to come, it could come from the right. Petter a little bit anonymous down the left.
Kerslake. Now Petter with his opportunity to shine. Matthew and Steen were moving ahead of him. Well, George Burley has been issuing firm instructions to Bobby Petter. He wants him to push forward on that left-hand side a lot more.
He's got the ability, Rob, but he's just not doing enough for me. He's not getting the ball enough. He's not attacking the fullback enough. And I just feel another 5-10 minutes, Milton could be on, Petter may be off.
Dutch under-21 international Bobby Petter signed from Feyenoord on a free transfer. And his opportunities limited last season. And this game looked like being a big chance. Stockwell. Dyer. And now a chance perhaps for Matthew. And Scott in the end came through to tidy up after it seemed Norwich had left Matthew a gap.
Yeah, well, Alex Matthew didn't realise he'd lost Matt Jackson. Watch this, he's left them. He's played onside. Now, had he let this ball run into the box, he had a better chance. Jackson gets a second chance. He's impressed me tonight, Andy Marshall. If you asked me before the game who's the best, I'd have said right, but Marshall has been superb.
Marshall, who finally seems to have shaken off the threat of competition from the regular custodian in so many of these fixtures, Brian Gunn. Now another foul on Edie by Cundy, who's already been booked for his last one.
Edie is just terrifying the life out of the centre halves.
And he could cause more torment here from the free kick. Oh, it's gone in off Jason Cundy. It was headed against him. He couldn't get out of the way. It's an own goal, and Norwich are 2 up.
Well, that just sums up the centre halves now. Mowbray stoops low from this free kick. He heads it against Cundy, and the ball beats Richard Wright. It's been a very unhappy night for Mowbray and Cundy, and now that could be the crucial goal. Off the head, off the legs of Tony Mowbray, and Richard Wright, great reflexes as he's got, can't do anything about this one. And that's a cruel blow for Ipswich Town, and the Canaries are flying high.
Well, Jason Cundy has had a night of utter misery. Turned by Edie for the first goal, booked for a challenge on him, and now from the free kick, couldn't get out of the way of Tony Mowbray's header. And Ipswich really do have a major uphill struggle. Adams. Here's Fleming. It was the lift that Norwich needed. The game seemed to have been halted in its tracks, but Edie it is who's brought them back to life, and he's looking for Forbes! And he was going for the spectacular.
Wow, again, Edie's pace. He is tormenting the Ipswich defence. This is a great ball, so sharp. Great ball in, left-footed, and surely Forbes could have stooped and headed that. Tries it, it's spectacular. The acrobatics when a header, surely he must have hit the target, but once again Edie's pace causing tremendous panic in the Ipswich defence.
Steen. Here's Holland. Over Stockwell's head and cleared by Jackson.
Well, Ipswich need a quick reply if they've got any chance at all of coming away from Carrow Road with points. A quick reply is needed, because defence is so fragile.
Cundy hoping for a quick response more than most.
Well, I've done a fiver to Dave Phillips.
The Milligan.
Sad night at the moment for Ipswich. Scowcroft, Venus off, and now 2-0 down.
Good header. It was Holland.
I've heard good reports about Matt Holland, and he has impressed me tonight. A little bit unlucky there at a yard the other side of Marshall. That could have been Ipswich back in it.
It's Cundy in the walls again, this time clashing with Peter Grant. Now Kerslake has taken a tumble. 1 or 2 challenges really starting to fly in again now.
Yes.
Fleck getting involved.
This is what it's all about, Rob. Get your foot in.
Adams, collision with Kerslake. And this is where the referee really has got to take a grip. And he's taking action.
Well, Dave Kerslake there, certainly catching Adams, no doubt about that. Adams just gets a touch here, and bang. I don't think there was no arm or elbow raised, it was just a straight body check. That's the Norwich fans you hear now. Ipswich again starting the second half well, but the crucial goal's gone to City.
David Kerslake, the latest to be shown a yellow card, but could greater punishment still be inflicted from the free kick, I wonder? Well, they're singing happily now, and you'll see plenty of the yellow and green shirts around East Anglia over the next few days.
Don't keep smiling at me, Rob.
It's going to be a miserable weekend in Suffolk, I think. Well, the last free kick led to all sorts of confusion and the own goal. Have Ipswich got themselves sorted at the back for this? It's Adams' free kick. Scott went for it, Mowbray in the way.
Yeah, good header from Mowbray this time. Scott, a big threat, but this time Mowbray getting his head to the ball. Maybe his aerial ability made George Burley play him tonight.
Adams, no one there for it.
27 minutes left. Town need a goal badly. Where's it going to come from?
And doesn't football have a habit of kicking you when you're down? George Burley saw his team go a goal down in 9 minutes. He's lost 2 key players with injuries, and the manner of the second goal, with Mowbray heading it against Cundy, who then saw it rebound into his own net. Well, is it the killer blow for Ipswich's hopes in this game?
That's one of them goals you can't really do a lot about, to be honest, Rob. You know, Cundy didn't even know it hit him. The ball came to Mowbray. Mowbray stooped. Maybe, I don't know, maybe volley it away would have been a better option. It's a goal that you can't really blame anyone, I don't think.
Matthew. Cleared by Jackson. Williams, Matthew. Matthew Dials turned up in the box. He's looking for Petter.
That's where they missed Scowcroft. Normally lurking at far post James Scowcroft, but Petter was there, and Petter really, well, he's a small fella. But Town need more of him.
Here's Jackson, who looks like making a winning start as captain in this fixture. Such Fleck. A hopeful one for Eadie to chase, and this time Cundy's got there. This is Petter. Steen. Kerslake. Oh, he's lost out. And another chance of a break on here as Fleming has found Darren Eadie.
Well, Darren Eadie full of confidence, just acknowledging Robert Fleck, and I felt Eadie should have passed quickly on the left-hand side to Fleck. Good play from Fleming, he's had a good match. Looks up quickly, sees Eadie, look at Fleck, it's like just out the picture on the left-hand side. Eadie decided to drive, go for glory, and Robert Fleck was very angry.
Well, it looks like Norwich's turn to make a substitution. And Craig Bellamy, who really has had a hectic week, set up the 2 goals that helped Norwich to win at Manchester City, scored twice for the Welsh under-18 team in their European Championship matches in Norway, and now he's coming on to take the place of Mike Milligan. Mike Walker very concerned about the amount of football that Bellamy has been playing. Scored against Norway and against Poland, but he's been thrown on to enjoy the atmosphere with a quarter of the game to go. And of course Milligan has had a groin problem, so it's perhaps a wise step on Norwich's behalf to just rest him. Holland, here's better. Still haven't really seen him sparkle.
No, Mark's team's been disappointing second half.
Well, there's a great ripple of excitement amongst the crowd whenever Edie's in full flow, but there's a great flash of anxiety at the back for Ipswich too. Matthew this time offside.
Yeah, a little bit of luck. Alex could have had a couple of goals, I think, Alex Matthew. Certainly the one, the chance in the first half, Alex normally puts him away.
Here's Matt Jackson with a free kick for Norwich. Forbes. Showed great determination, Adrian Forbes.
Yeah, another one blessed with tremendous pace coming inside. Mowbray decided not to close him down, and Forbes has a clear strike on goal here with the right foot, but way off target.
Forbes, another product of the famed Norwich youth policy, which it seems is unearthing one or two more gems. Bellamy, who's just come on, Coote on the bench, Drew Brout, of course, still in reserve too.
I just feel George Bellamy now, maybe last throw of the dice, get Milton on. Since that second goal, Ipswich really they've not looked as menacing as they started the second half.
Here's Bellamy. Forbes has gone into the middle this time, taking on Mowbray. Stockwell. Here's Matthew. Kerslake. David Kerslake has Matthew and Steen making runs in the centre. Kerslake himself has gone in there now, and Stockwell has run the corner.
Yeah, good challenge from Jackson again, and he's played tremendously well at the heart of the Norwich defence.
Michael Walker's first signing after his return, and a fairly astute one at that.
Town need one. If they're going to get one, they need it now. 20 minutes to go. 2-1 puts them right back in it. Can they get the breakthrough?
That's his cross. Kerslake. Williams.
Well, this little layoff Edie's had, he's definitely come back with a huge appetite, hasn't he? Worked tremendously well tonight.
Andy Marshall has played his part. He's kept Norwich in the game at a time when they looked vulnerable.
Ipswich have now switched Kieran Dyer left-hand side, trying to get more out of Petter. As Kerslake plays in behind Stockwell.
Matthew.
Yeah, the kid's got to be careful, Bellamy. Didn't like that decision from the ref. Youngster, but you can't shout at refs like that.
Just being told to cool it.
You can do it when you're up in the gantry, but not on the field.
Keeping the pressure on Scott.
Scott's done well as well. I think that's the difference. The two Norwich centre halves have stood strong. I think the two Ipswich ones have had an off night.
Jason Cundy in his first East Anglian Derby, but Tony Mowbray playing his third, and he'd lost the previous two.
He's tremendous talking, but you need a little bit more than that. And Scott and Jackson will come out on top.
It's Matthews cross to Stockwell, and again The defence held firm. It was Scott that time who made sure it was made safe.
Yeah, Fleming got across superbly well from the right back spot. Saying what a good game he's had. And he could have just saved Norwich. Ipswich could have got back in there. Stockwell, another good run into the box.
Petter. Steen. Dyer, the runner from midfield. Not the ball he would have wanted.
Dyer was in a great position there. And Steen, instead of inside, went out. And that was again, no half chances. You don't pick the right ball, the wrong option, you're not going to get back in it. Dyer makes a great run in here. He just wanted it thread through on the left foot. Look at Dyer. And Steen goes outside rather than in, and Dyer was in there.
Steen. Here's Petter. Fleming battled in vain to keep it in play. Ipswich throw. Dyer to take.
Ipswich fans again trying to get their side back in this. If the score stays like this, it might seem like 145 miles back to Ipswich, not 45.
Well, there are 2,000 fans from Suffolk here, and they're doing their level best despite being vastly outnumbered to bring about some sort of response. Kerslake taking on Such. Stockwell away from Forbes. This is Matthew. Scott giving him no room, but Kerslake's got his cross in, and there's the goal that Steen wanted and that Ipswich wanted to give themselves a foothold in this game.
That's the one they needed. And they'll be going berserk in the pubs in Suffolk. What a good goal, Matthew, tremendous. Kerslake on the overlap, perfect ball. Steen 2-1. What a great little build-up. Matthew, very influential. Kerslake the sub with a quality cross. Matt Steen on loan from Chelsea into the empty net. Plants his header past Marshall. What a game we have now.
And with 16 minutes to go, Mark Steen's goal may well help Ipswich to turn the corner. They've still got plenty of time on their side in this one, and he may just have unsettled that Norwich defence that up to now had been so reliable.
Well, Norwich have to dig deep now. Towns tails are up, and Matthew and Steen now combining well.
It really was a wicked cross from Kerslake that helped to provide the goal. There is a flag up here, and Edie can't make any progress.
Great goal. Just what Ipswich Town needed. And what a finale. 15-16 minutes we've got now coming up.
Steen into the second half of his 2-month loan spell from Chelsea, and that seemed to be a handball from Matt Jackson.
Oh, I thought that was blatant, to be honest. And Norwich now beginning to argue amongst themselves. Robert Fleck very, very angry there. It looked a handball to me, and Ipswich keep the pressure up.
Well, we've said how much the Ipswich fans were playing a part in the attempted revival, and they must be wondering now, like the neutrals amongst us, if the tide has turned. Kerslake, who's played a full part in that. It was a tremendous cross for Steen's header. Mowbray, who is relieved as anyone if Ipswich can level matters, at least. Cundy will be just as relieved. Petter.
An elite challenge there.
Adams the offender. Well, Mark Steen brought to Ipswich for his goal-scoring prowess.
Well, Matthew played a great part, holding the ball up. There's a cross from Kerslake, and Steenie, 6 yards out, get in.
And a quick free kick taken by Ipswich.
Oh, well, Alex Matthew there was in as well, and all of a sudden the Norwich centre-halves are looking a little bit jaded. Matthew's causing them problems.
Looking for Fleck. Grant. Dyer, and that challenge was by Fleming. The referees let it run. There could be an advantage here. Petter.
Fleming might be in a bit of trouble as soon as this ball goes dead. I'm pretty certain of that. Here we go. Sorry, son. Out comes a yellow, I'm sure. Dyer is so good. He just gets his foot to the ball past Adams. Now Fleming.
Before now, where did you get
challenge?
Craig Fleming doesn't need to hear the words of the referee. He knows what action is being taken against him. And
Mowbray making a long run from the back now, far post.
Ipswich really fancy their chances now of getting this equaliser, and who knows, there'd still be time enough to go on and win it. Mowbray's made his move now, and he's got there!
Very, very unlucky. Gets inside Kevin Scott. Again, it was a nice height for Marshall. And Mowbray grimaces. That could have been the equaliser. Good run, good delivery. Scott's nowhere. And just a nice height for Andy Marshall to tip over. Tried to get it to the far post, but Marshall, a lovely little flick over the crossbar.
Well, the Norwich fans were cowering while Marshall was standing tall there against Mowbray. But the pressure really still on. Flicked header again right across the face. Once more it was Mowbray.
Well, Cundy was at the far post, so was little Mark Steen. It just needed a touch. Great delivery from the corner. Mowbray, lovely flick. It just needs a touch in, and Steen can't get there.
Well, it's amazing how quickly fortunes can change. Ipswich were down and seemed to be out after all that had happened to them and against them in this game. But from 2-0 down, and with Scowcroft off and on his way to hospital and Venus off with injury too, suddenly Ipswich have possibly found a path back thanks to Steen's goal. And just look at the measure of the Ipswich revival.
Yeah, well, the second goal was a killer, wasn't it? But still time, 11 minutes for Town to search for an equaliser.
George Burley will possibly be tossing over in his mind some of those first half misses. The Matthew chance, the Venus header cleared off the line. And wondering how different the course of this game could have been if one of those chances had been taken. As it is, a revival is still on the cards. Mowbray. Steen the goal scorer. Petter. Dyer. And Steen.
It's all one-way traffic now. Norwich can't get a grip of it in the midfield area. Relying on quick breaks as Ipswich push forward, surge forward time after time.
Bellamy has found his man, Adams. With Norwich now needing a goal to settle themselves. Edie's cross. Fleck! Great save. Thought went in for the follow-up and went in very hard on Richard Wright, who to his eternal credit never reacted.
Yeah, great save, great stop from Richard Wright, but once again, how does Robert Flegg get a free header in the 6-yard box, if you like? Again, a great ball from Edie. Fleck comes across Moby in between the two defenders, and in goes Forbes, but Richard Wright hangs on to it. Again, for me, that's bad defending. Brave goalkeeping.
Fleck had issued instructions as to where he wanted that free kick played, but the length of it takes it all the way back to Wright. Williams, Steen. Williams again. Petter with a challenge from Fleming, who's already been in trouble once with the referee.
Yeah, and the young sub there, Bellamy, was quick in the challenge as well. I thought he was in trouble.
Dyer involved in a bit of a wrestle with Darren Eadie, and with Eadie away, this could spell trouble for Ipswich. Fleck forward, good challenge by Mowbray. Ipswich defenders growing in confidence, but the flag up for offside as Petter was on the break.
Tremendous stuff now. This is end-to-end football, and Mowbray a crunching tackle on Eadie. But again, Eadie, his pace is frightening. Kieran Dyer is no slouch himself. He couldn't keep up with Eadie, and Mowbray came across and had to make the challenge, and Eadie felt it.
Ipswich already feel hard done to by some of the results they've had this season, and they really have battled away and shown great valiance in the face of adversity. The Steen goal at the moment, their only reward, and now Eadie piling the pressure on Mowbray once more.
He's worked really, really well against the two centre-halves.
Jackson. Cundy underneath it. Back pass was from Peter Grant.
7 minutes remaining. Norwich trying to slow and calm things down now. Ipswich desperate to get possession back and get forward. Petter.
It's a brave run, it's a tremendous run. Saved initially, they were queuing up for the follow-up. Matthew was in there as well. And Marshall did enough.
Wow, tremendous run from Bobby Petter. Maybe about time, it was overdue. But this time he goes past the Norwich defence. Where's the forward players? Are they following up? As Petter drives with the left foot. The ball goes out, and it's Daryl Such who gets to this ball first for Norwich City.
Well, there have been moments of chaos in that Norwich defence. Stockwell looking to create more confusion. Good defending, though, that time by Scott. Williams. Stockwell down at the moment, nursing an injury.
Yeah, he was very brave, Mickey Stockwell, going for that challenge. Now he's paying the penalty. He's been one of Ipswich's best players.
Kerslake testing the steely resolve of the Norwich defence. Matthew leaves it, Dyer was coming in. And now Grant looking to push out, but it's too long for Bellamy.
Well, I think you have to say, any neutral would say maybe Ipswich are a bit unlucky to be behind here at Carrow Road. Battling away, banging on the door. Half chances, they haven't taken them.
2-1 down they may be, but this game could still tip either way. Steen. It's Ipswich at the moment with the wind in their sails. Williams. Kerslake. Blocked by Forbes. Kerslake thought he'd got the throw in, but Forbes won it.
And the ref was right. It did come off Dave Kerslake, who's done so well since he's come on.
And another change being made by Norwich, and they're bringing on Adrian Coote to take the place of Adrian Forbes, two of their youth products. But while Forbes was born in London, the man coming on, Coote, is from Norfolk, from Great Yarmouth, and he's already made a name for himself with his first senior goal in the last game against Manchester City.
And they're already talking about the new Sutton, aren't they?
Yes, he and Bratton are a partnership looked upon by Mike Walker as the partnership for Norwich 3 or 4 years down the line. And this man, Coote, was the leading scorer for the youth and reserve teams last season. Flicked back by Matthew. Here goes Mowbray. Steen. Holland. Petter here looking to put the pressure on.
Yeah, I think at the back between Petr and Fleming. Fleming's come out top. He's shielding the ball there for the goal kick. Petr's got ability, but this fella I think's contained him well tonight.
3 minutes to go. Both sets of supporters doing their level best to stimulate one last effort.
Well, I thoroughly enjoyed this cracking game. I wouldn't mind another goal though, Rob.
As usual, it's been an East Anglian Derby packed with incident.
Well, Ipswich are certainly going to rue the missed chances. They've had enough of them. And that's been the story of the season so far for Georgie Burley. Played well, possession, but can't put the ball away enough.
George Burley, who's managed to maintain that fresh-faced look from his playing days, but it must have been a pretty stressful night for him. Seeing Scowcroft carried off, and then his replacement Matthew missed that glorious opening in the first half.
Yeah, fingers crossed for James Scowcroft.
Edie. There's Bellamy. Getting it back from Fleck. Oh! Well, what confidence the youngster showed.
Yeah, good play. He's impressed me since he's come on, this fella. Very positive. Has a quick look, right foot. And Richard Wright taking no risky chances, just decides to help it over the crossbar, Richard Wright.
He knows as well as anyone that goal would have sealed it. Fleming. Edie. A thorn in the flesh all night. And he almost rounded it off.
What a stop again. But this fella, what a game he's had. Ipswich can't contain him. And Wright again. Tremendous one-handed save. Edie cuts in on the left peg again. Look, the angle's not great. Surely you've got to close him down. And Richard Wright with a left-hand save again comes to the rescue.
Well, they're not leaving too many forward for the corner, Norwich. What they have, they want to hold on to. And Bellamy whips this one in. It's Richard Wright's ball.
So what Glenn Hoddle can't, he must be impressed with his goalkeeping tonight. Two young keepers, great futures ahead of them.
Mowbray. Grant. Holland. Grant. And they're onside, both Fleck and Coote. This is Adrian Coote. Adams. Coote again. Fleck, the only Norwich player in the box. Edie just jogging forward to join him.
Well, you have to say, for such a youngster, showing great experience there. 90 minutes are up on the clock. Deciding not to whip it in the box, just take it into the corner flag.
So who's going to be your man of the match, Alan?
Well, it's got to be Edie. Edie is the difference between the sides. He's tormented the Ipswich defence. Tremendous display tonight, I think. And I'd love to give it an Ipswich player if I'm honest, but Edie has to get it.
Well, he's showing all the tricks of the trade in preserving this 2-1 lead now, as on Norwich, holding it up in that corner. They're not bothered particularly about going for the glory of a third goal. They just want to keep it deep in Ipswich territory. But is there time yet for one last effort from the visitors, who've shown commendable spirit? Here's Bellamy. Well, the referee hasn't actually blown the final whistle, although the players, or some of the players, clearly thought he had.
Some of the ball boys are on the pitch as well. Oi, get off! It's not finished yet.
And is there time for one last effort at goal for Ipswich? Fleming here under pressure from Petr has dealt with it well. Fleck. And now Coote with Mowbray up against him. Nobody at all in the box. It's just going to be a holding job. He may make even more of it though. Adrian Coote! Well, he showed great strength.
Well, he's a young star, big, tall lad. Looks as if he could put a bit of weight on, some body strength, but he doesn't need it here. He rolls Tony Mowbray, comes inside, realises there's not a lot of support and says, why not?
Mowbray, Kerslake, who provided Steen's goal, looking for Steen again. Dyer this time looking to get in behind them, but there's a push. The referee spotted.
Well, this will be interesting. Ian Dyer is not arguing with the ref, so perhaps the referee was spot on. It goes between the two the two defenders. Where's the push? I certainly didn't see it.
Mark Steen is still protesting with him about it. He realises that was possibly Ipswich's last chance of forcing an equaliser in this game. Dyer, the man to whom the opportunity would have fallen had the ball been allowed to run well into stoppage time.
Wow, what a game. From the noise at Carrow Road to the crescendo of the Stadium of Light on Sunday.
Such.
Fans are imploring the referee, blow your whistle, but there has been a few stoppages here.
And yet another false alarm when the referee blew his whistle and the crowd thought it was all over, but he's keeping them hanging on, as John Brandwood. Look at them, they're giving him plenty of advice on how to blow.
Yeah, a lot of kids in the crowd tonight, lovely to see.
Lots of amateur referees as well, it seems, by the look of it.
I hope you're not having a go at referee. Mr. Brandwood there, Rob. I heard you, he's having a little smile. I think the story of the game is Ipswich just missed too many chances. Outplayed Norwich in terms of possession, but Edie's pace was always an unbelievable threat. And quite simply, Ipswich couldn't cope with them.
Well, they're wondering where all the extra time has come from. Still Ipswich press. Here's Bobby Petter slipping it through towards Steen. Marshall come out of his goal. Fingernail biting time still for Norwich, and still the agony is prolonged. They're wondering if that own goal from Jason Cundy is going to be enough.
He's had another look at the watch. Not as if he's forgot the referee, keeps having a peek.
Edie. Won the 63rd East Anglian Derby, and Darren Eadie was the man who started it all off for them with the goal in the 9th minute. But the man who decided it with the winning goal in his first ever Derby match, Jason Cundy, the problem for him was that it was in his own net. Ball headed against him by Tony Mowbray in the second half. And despite Mark Steen's goal late on, it's the Norwich fans who are celebrating their 5th successive Derby victory here at Carrow Road. Andy Marshall played his part in keeping Ipswich at bay, but how the visitors will rue their missed chances. They had some devastating blows during the course of the game, with James Scowcroft going on with what looked like a serious injury. Mark Venus taken off too. A number of chances in both halves that were spurned. Mark Steen took the one that they did manage to score from a great cross from David Kerslake, but in the end it wasn't enough. Darren Eadie makes a triumphant return after missing the last 3 matches, and it's the Norwich colours that will be proudly displayed all around the region, while the Ipswich fans will make the short journey back to Suffolk that will somehow seem a longer journey tonight after a depressing and dismaying evening for them. In contrast, the Norwich fans in good voice.
Yeah, it was a tremendous game. Thoroughly enjoyed it, end to end. It wasn't a dirty match. Ipswich had so much possession, they just didn't have the killer finish. And let's hope again, James Scowcroft, it worried me when he went off, and I pray he's okay. But the Norwich fans, it's just what they needed to kickstart their season now. delighted, hanging on towards the end, but the victory is so important. Whereas Ipswich fans, well, they go 40 miles down the road and they'll be saying themselves, we were robbed, we were unlucky.
Well, Norwich fans go up the road in terms of the league table. Significant strides up to 10th for them, but Ipswich still stranded in the bottom three. They claim that Norwich are only on loan to this division, and they're hoping, as Alan says, that this can kick-start their season. Darren Eadie, who's played his part, and Andy Marshall, who's played his too, are with our reporter Alan Bentley.
Well, Darren, not a bad way to get off the mark of the season.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, we can't ask more from the lads tonight. You know, we had a couple of scares. Marsh made some great saves, and we got, you know, a couple of goals which he deserved, and we held on towards the end, so it's good, brilliant.
It's a bit tough out there on occasion as well.
It was, but I mean, you know, that's what local derbies are all about, and you know, it makes that much more sweeter when you win them.
And Andy, as Darren said, you made a few crucial saves there.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you know, there's 11 players out there and they all did their job tonight. I had a couple of saves to make, and lucky enough, when they called upon, I made them. So.
Have you been pleased with your form this season?
Up and down, really. I've been a bit disappointed at points, but then I've been very happy at other points. But I've just got to get that consistency at a high level.
Well, it's Darren who's won our man of the match. If you can hand it to him, you won't drop it, will you?
There you go, Daz. Brilliant, mate. Well done. Great goal. Thanks a lot.
A derby with a bite, and Norwich moved to within 3 points of the leaders. Some transformation after their disastrous start to the season.